Hello, welcome to another Blu-ray update. This is from May of 2016, and as you've seen in the title, it's a mostly silent update, meaning most of the films in this update are silent films. So for the people who are not interested in that kind of thing, just for you, I'm going to put the 3 titles I have that aren't silent films at the beginning of the video, so you can watch those and then you can turn the video off and no feelings will be hurt. The first thing I have is a Blu-ray in a line of Blu-rays that I've been collecting for maybe 5 years, maybe 4 years at least. It's a Sony Collector's Edition series, which have white slipcovers, gold titles. There's loads of them in the UK, they're numbered, and then around Europe they have them and they're not numbered and they're in thinner cases, but they all have slipcovers. I have tons of Scandinavian releases of those. I know there's ones in Italy, I think, in Spain, and I have almost all of the UK ones. This one is one that has always eluded me, and I've always wanted to get it. I've always wanted to see the film. I haven't seen the film before, and I've always seen it in the stores around here in Norway, and the slip has always been slightly dinged or crushed, and I thought, I want the film, but I want the slip in perfect condition. Just so happens that Ian Forkerball made a video about this a week or two ago, and I thought, I want to watch his video, but I want to wait till I've seen the film. So the next time I was at a store, I went in, I had a look, and they had it, and it was, the slip was like, it's literally almost completely perfect, mint condition. The film in question is Philadelphia, starring Tom Hanks and Denzel Washington. Courtroom drama about a man who has AIDS, and his work, or his job, is compromised by that, as far as I'm aware, and so it's a legal battle over the fact that he has been fired, I think, because he has AIDS, and the stigma that went around that, I guess, around the time that this film was released. I know that Tom Hanks was up for awards for this. I don't know if he won an Oscar or something, but definitely it was a critically acclaimed film of its time, which was 1990 something, 1993. So yeah, just I love these editions. I love the white and gold covers that they do for them. Sometimes it's not perfect, you know, like some films it doesn't fit, but for the most part I really like them. I know a lot of people compare them to cigarette packets, which is funny, but it's nice to get one of these. I haven't got one of these in a long time, and I probably need to kind of round off the UK collection as well. So there you go, Philadelphia. And also it's in the book 1,001 Movies You Must See Before You Die, which is kind of my new focus right now, so that's another reason that I picked this up, and it was just good timing that I saw it, and yeah, the slip now is absolutely covered, caked in fingerprints, but it's not too bad, I suppose. It's just one of those things where you pick something up and it's covered in fingerprints for life. Next up we have an Arrow video title. This is a film I've been highly anticipating, not only to watch on the Arrow edition, but also just in general. For years I wanted to see this for one particular reason. I never got around to it. And this is a perfect time to get around to it. It is Arrow Video's new release of Waking Life, a film by Richard Linklater. If you don't know who that is, you've probably seen a film that he's made. He has a very interesting career, but some of his classics are Slacker, Dazed and Confused, the Before trilogy, Before Sunrise, Before Sunset, Before Midnight. His recent big hit was Boyhood. This year he has Everybody Wants Some coming out, which has been kind of not brushed under the carpet, but it's been a very small release. I'm hoping to see that next week, which I'm really excited about, but it's in a really tiny cinema, and I think no one has even bought a ticket yet, so he's one of those filmmakers, and then he crosses over to the mainstream. He did School of Rock, and this is one of his weirder kind of experiments, and I really respect that about him, is that he branches out and he just does stuff that interests him, like the film Tape. He made on a, you know, like a DV camera, like a digital tape. You know, it wasn't shot on film, and it's a great film, you know. And I'm hoping this will be. I haven't seen it. It uses rotoscope animation, so he shot the film, and then an animator kind of painted over that, you know, rotoscope animation. So I'm really intrigued to see how that is going to look. There'll probably be something in the booklet I can show you to give you a better idea of it if you haven't heard of this film before. It's a great release from Arrow, as usual. I mean, just look at the special edition. Special features listings. I mean, it's longer than the plot summary, you know. So we got like commentary by Richard Linklater, and the art director, the actor who's the lead character, I believe. Commentary by the animation team, which is the 25 people. A selection of short films from, I believe, the art director of the film, So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 short films there. An original making-of featurette from the time the film came out, animation tutorial, deleted and alternative animation sequences, pre-animation live-action footage captured on mini-DV, a trivia subtitle track throughout the film written by Richard Linklater himself, and the theatrical trailer, not to mention the fact that, of course, you have the Blu-ray, the DVD, you got a booklet, you got the reversible artwork with the original movie poster art, which I'll just give you a brief glimpse of now, right there. Always cool when they do that, which they pretty much always do. And yeah, shall I just take the booklet out and just show you in case you haven't seen or heard about this film before, and just to give you a, I mean, right there on the front cover you get an instant look of what this film kind of is. So yeah, I've seen nothing like it. He did another one in 2006, I think, called A Scanner Darkly, which had a bigger cast, like it was more of a production, I suppose. I don't think there's many big names in this. In A Scanner Darkly, there's like Keanu Reeves, Robert Downey Jr., I think Woody Allen maybe. So yeah, the booklet's got some nice images from the film, and probably some writing on it as well, as usual. That's a really cool shot there. So I'm really excited to delve into that. I might watch this tonight actually, I don't know. But yeah, another top release from Arrow. By all accounts it looks phenomenal as well, and I'm looking forward to checking it out, which I've said quite a few times already. Now finally, before we get to the silent films, this is a steelbook that I really wanted when it came out and was announced. I thought, oh, that looks gorgeous, I want to get that, but then I just thought, I can't really spend full price on that, and so I just wrote it off and said I'm never going to get it, so there you go, because it was a popular kind of franchise and I figured it would sell out, and it's also limited to 1,000 copies, so I thought there's no chance. And about 3 months later, it popped up on Blu-ray.com. Someone said, hey, this is going for 10 quid. I was like, 10 quid, really? So I just snapped it up. I had to snap it up, and I thought it was a decent price for a series of a show as well. And it is Star Wars Rebels. Now, I've seen about 4 or 5 episodes of this before I got the Blu-ray, and I have to admit that I'm not really into this kind of thing. The digital animation shows, you know, when it's not a big CGI animated film, the detail isn't as good with the series because they have to churn out more material. So the textures aren't as you know, they don't wow you as much as, like, say, a Pixar film, because they just don't have the time and money to go that detailed for that amount of footage. You know, with a feature film they could spend years on 90 minutes. This is different. But I watched it and I really got into it. I just dug the spirit of it and I enjoyed it a lot. So I figured, why not? Why not give it a shot? I haven't watched it yet on Blu-ray, but I'll definitely be watching all of it. And I know a lot of people are really into this show. I'll take the steelbook out of the slip there, and it's just a really nice, clean front image. There is, thank God, the title on the spine. And on the back there we have the Inquisitor, I believe. Try and get out without any glare. And I think there's 2 discs on the inside and then a picture of a ship. I won't bother taking the discs out. Again, you've probably seen this stuff before, but I was really happy to pick this up, and it's still on Zavvi. So I think, again, Zavvi have been sneaky buggers. I'm sure there's more than 1,000 copies of this. I mean, you mean to tell me there's only 1,000 copies of this and it hasn't sold out yet? You know, the amount of stuff that they shift, I just don't think I don't think that they're sneaky buggers, as always. Anyway, that is it. If you don't want to see the silent films, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Got a lot to get through. I'll try and blast through it. I've got a couple of really good sets to begin with, which are kind of like this first one. Well, there's two sets here, right? This one took place in 1 century, and this one took place in not the century after it, but the century after that. So there's like 3 centuries covered between these 2 releases, which is kind of interesting. Anyway, the first one here is this marvelous release from France, Lumiere. It's DVD sized, and it is just a gorgeous, gorgeous set. It is a presentation, a feature-length presentation of 114 films, I think. I can't see it on the back offhand, but it's an hour-and-a-half long, and it's a presentation of at least 110 of the Lumiere brothers films. Now, they aren't really films, they're more like clips. They're like 30-40 seconds long, but they are the first films ever. I believe there was a film a couple of years before the Lumiere brothers started making films, but it's like 1.5 second of a guy dancing around a garden. You know, it's widely considered that the workers leaving the factory is the first film ever made in 1895, I believe. Yeah, by the Lumiere brothers in France, and they kind of pioneered filming things and stuff. So you get this glorious, I think it's like a 4K, 110 films, yeah. Yeah, and 4K scan, you know, that's where the transfer originates from, of all of these films that are just, you know, clips and stuff. But I've watched a bit of it, just to get a little taste, and just the music and everything is phenomenal. The only downside to this, unfortunately, is that it's not English friendly. Now, as far as the films are concerned, that's okay, because there's no language, there's no dialogue, no text, nothing. But you know, you get a nice, really like good like stock booklet there. I mean, again, I can't really understand any of it, but it's got some nice images and stuff of the films themselves. I mean, you're going back to like the, you know, it's just crazy. Seeing the Eiffel Tower back in 1890, whatever, or it might be in the early 1900s, because I think these films go up to 1905. You got the two Lumiere brothers there. But really high quality, glossy booklet there, and then the actual discs are housed inside this really nice digipack, which feels like a really nice kind of high quality material. I believe these are kind of pictures of the Lumiere brothers, just like their family pictures and stuff. And you get this nice fold out with the two Blu-rays. I think they're two Blu-rays. Yeah, two Blu-ray. The second Blu-ray has loads of special features. Again, really unfortunately, I have to say, they're special features that don't, you can't watch them unless you speak French. And I know a certain YouTube friend of mine who does speak French, and she would probably be able to enjoy the features on this if she found them interesting, but I can't, unfortunately. That's definitely a downside to this set. It's, I mean, there's just tons of stuff. There's hours of documentaries, ranging from, I'm not sure when, but I mean, they have documentaries from like 20, 30 years ago that were made about the Lumiere brothers, and they have documentaries that were made in 2015 about the Lumiere brothers. They have an interesting kind of, well, I'll probably go into this in the future anyway, but you know, suffice it to say, it's a fantastic set. It's not English friendly, but just for the sake of film history, I think it was worth me picking it up and owning it, and I'm very happy that I did decide to pick it up. And yeah, the Lumiere brothers set. It's just called Lumiere. Also, just, you know, I'll just get this out of the way. I will be doing a Silent Movie Marathon 3 this year, which will probably happen at some point in September, October. And all of these films probably will be featured in the video. So if you don't want to be spoiled anything and you like those Silent Movie Marathons, if you do, I don't know who you are, because not many people do watch those, but this will spoil everything if you don't want to be spoiled. So there you go. Now moving on to the next kind of nice set. This is a Spanish, I believe, well, it's a Spanish film, but it's a Spanish release of Snow White. The only thing I don't like about this is that it's really hard to put on the shelf in any kind of aesthetically pleasing way, because it's so long and it's hard to kind of put anywhere. But I had to go for this. I think it was cheaper than the normal release, and it opens up and you get a DVD, Blu-ray, CD, and then there's loads of really nice full color pages inside here of this film, which was released in 2012. It is a silent film. It was kind of a case of, you know, the artist beat this by like a year in terms of making a modern silent film, but it just was what it was. It didn't get as much attention, but I've heard that it's fantastic, and of course it's a silent film, so I want to see it, and that's all I'll say right now. But I think this got loads of stuff in it. I think that there's like I think there's some kind of like stage version of this that is on the Blu-ray or something. I'm really not sure. Hang on, there's 2 discs. I don't know. I'll look into it, and you know, you don't care. So that's the 2 kind of really nice sets. We have a handful of stuff here from Spain again. Some more Spanish releases. This one, I forget the English title of it, to be honest, but it's an Alfred Hitchcock film, and it's from 1927, I think. 1927, and that's all I know. It's a Hitchcock film. It's on Blu-ray, so I wanted to get it, and I'll be featuring that in my marathon. And that's something I haven't delved into yet, is Alfred Hitchcock's silent era of films. Now these two I'm really happy about. This one is Nanook of the North. This is in the book 1001 Movies You Must See Before You Die. Early documentary directed by Robert Flaherty, who went out and did these kind of documentaries in like these faraway places, and this one it features Eskimos, and it's out in the Antarctic, and it's one of the great classic documentaries. There's loads of great features on here apparently, just like, you know, I think like an hour-long return to Nanook or something. It's like a follow-up documentary. Anyway, the cool thing about this is that the only release I've seen of this up until recently was a Flickr Alley release, I think, from America. And it's always been really expensive, like $40. And I thought, you know, it's a bit too much to pay, really, just for one film. But this, I believe, has everything, and it's the same transfer, or if not, it's probably still very good, I'm hoping. Haven't checked it out yet, and it's a lot cheaper, obviously, as well. So, Nanook of the North, looking forward to that one. I love documentaries, and silent documentaries are really interesting to me. This one was super exciting. It is The General, Buster Keaton's The General, or as it says on the front here, El Maquinista de la General. This is a new transfer of The General that was not included on the 2009, I believe 2009, Kino release, which I have. I have the Kino American Blu-ray of The General, which is fantastic. It looks stunning. I love it. This one is from a 2013 Cohen Media restoration, Cohen Film Collection. They did a 4K remaster of this, and it looks incredible. I've kind of sampled it. I put two Blu-ray players, hooked them up to the TV, and flicked back and forth, and this looks great. It does cut off some of the frame though, and while all the damage and signs of wear that is on the Kino Blu-ray edition are removed in this one, and it looks really nice and clean and crisp, there's something about the aesthetic of the Kino one I think I prefer, because this is in black and white. The Kino is in sepia tone, and I really don't know. It might just be a case of just, you know, choosing either or. I think they both look great, but I need to look into this a bit more. But yeah, I was surprised to see that the frame was cropped slightly, but it still looks phenomenal. I might even like rip both Blu-rays to my laptop and do some proper comparisons and stuff. And I think this is in 1080i, not 1080p. I'm not sure though. Again, I have to try and look into it, but there's no information about this. I've seen no one talking about this release whatsoever. It's been out for 2 years, but there you go. One of my favourite films of all time, so I'm more than happy to double dip on it, and to have a different transfer is great. And there's all the same features except for one from the Kino release. So if anyone wants to pick this up for a little bit cheaper, then hit up the Spain release, because you can't really go wrong with that. It's a lot cheaper than the... Well, it's not a lot cheaper, but then you got to pay shipping from America, and that's more expensive, so there you go. This one is... I'm really happy about this one, and I bet you haven't heard of this film. I bet you haven't heard of it. You might have, but I highly doubt it. Gypsy Ann. This is the first Norwegian feature-length film from 1920, I think. Early 20s at least, yeah, 1920. Now, being here in Norway, and you know, my fiance is Norwegian, I'm interested in Norwegian history and culture, so to see a silent film from Norway is something I'm really interested in. And this is a Blu-ray that's kind of hard to find, and I kind of managed to track it down through a Norwegian website, and it took about 2 weeks for them to even find a copy to ship to me, but they did. You can find it on Amazon, like anywhere, like Amazon France, Spain, UK, but it's really expensive. But I got it for a decent enough price, and it's a really great release. And not only is it a really great release, I flicked through some of the transfer. It looks really great. It's an English-friendly release, so it has all the info in Norwegian, all the info in English. And then when you open the Blu-ray up, you can watch the film in English or in Norwegian. They have different options and stuff, and I think that's great, because they've obviously recognized that obviously a huge part of the collecting community will be English speakers, and so they've, I mean, this just feels like a really great preservation project, where they've put this package together and have obviously kept in mind the Norwegian people who might want to be interested in it and picking it up, but also the English speakers, which is something I would have liked the Lumiere set to have, a bit more of an English-friendly feel to it. There's even a commentary on the Lumiere Blu-ray, which apparently is really great, but it's all in French, so it is what it is. And there's some great features on here as well. I think there's like there's a featurette where they go back to some of the locations of this film and show them like 80, 90 years later, which is kind of cool. It also has a booklet, you know, it's just a top release. I'm really, really happy with it. It did come in a blue case, but I swapped it out for a clear, you know, case to kind of be more reminiscent of, say, you know, Criterion or Arrow or Masters of Cinema, because I feel like this is a kind of film that deserves that, and so I'm really happy with the way it looks in a clear case. There you go, and I'm looking forward to checking it out, obviously, during my marathon. Then we have a BFI release, the Soviet influence from Turksib to Night Mail. Turksib is a documentary about the building of a railway track, the Trans-Siberian Railway, I think, in Russia. Don't know too much about it, but it looks right up my alley. I love trains, anything to do with trains, and of course I love silent films, so I feel like it's going to be a film that will interest me. I don't think it's that long, maybe an hour long. Oh no, it's about 18 minutes long, that's pretty good. And obviously what they've done, they did this with Battleship Potemkin. They released that with a British film that kind of was maybe influenced by it. So Night Mail, I think, is a film that was released. I think it's a British film. I'm not sure. Let's read the back. Turksib is presented alongside a number of key British documentaries, including the celebrated Night Mail, all of which were made in the wake of Turksib by filmmakers whose debt to the film is very much in evidence. Okay, so it has Night Mail, it has The Face of Britain, The Country Comes to Town, Shadow on the Mountains. So we have a couple of silent documentaries, I think, and then a couple of sound documentaries. Loads of great features on this, and I'm looking forward to checking out Turksib. So, and obviously with BFI, you get the booklet and all that good stuff, you know. Such a great era that we live in, that we get these great releases, you know, not only from Criterion now, but just these, you know, BFI and so on. And then finally we have two films, or two Blu-rays related to the one and only Charlie Chaplin. The first one here is A Woman of Paris, which I don't believe stars Chaplin at all, but he wrote and directed this film as far as I'm aware. Let's have a look on the cast at the back. Not the cast, the, you know, the little, the small information at the bottom. Music composed by Charlie Chaplin, big surprise. I can't really see if he... Yeah, written by Charles Chaplin, so I'm sure he directed it, because I read that somewhere. It doesn't say. It says that he wrote the film. Cinematography, camera operator, I don't know. But I'm pretty sure he wrote and directed this film, and it's one of the artificial eye releases. They recently re-released all of his films. Yeah, they all look like this, the same kind of cover. Nothing on the inside or booklets or anything like that, but either way, it was going pretty cheap on Zavvi, so I snapped it up because I want to see every film that Charles Chaplin has done before. So that's another one to add onto the pile. And then finally, I'm really excited about this one, another BFI release. It is the Charlie Chaplin Mutual Comedies Collection. So a run of films he did with Mutual from, I think, 1916 until 1917. I'm not sure how many films there are. 12 films. So we've got 12 films in this set, in high definition, alternative scores for each film, by a range of composers, audio commentaries for every single film, a short documentary, a newsreel from 1921, an interview with Carl Davis, the composer, and a full booklet and all that good stuff. So this is a really great release. Nice slipcover. I was glad that it turned up in fairly good condition as well, as always. And let's just take it out. Same artwork on the inside, and you got the nice booklet there as well. I think is it 2 Blu-rays or a DVD and yeah, 2 Blu-rays. So they split them up and hopefully maxed out the bit rate. And from what I've read, it is a very good release of some pretty good films. I've not seen any Charlie Chaplin shorts yet. I've seen all of his silent films in which he stars in. Obviously this one is an exception because he's not a star of this film, but yeah, so there we go. That's my update. Loads of silent films on Blu-ray, and I'm hoping to pick up some more next month. It'll be my birthday, so I'll probably just focus all of my wishes to my family and friends to silent films or massive cinema, whatever. And yeah, Silent Movie Marathon 3 is going to be another big one. I'm kind of getting a bit worried about it already, because the last one I did was 9 hours long in one video, and then it was like a mini series of 13 videos split up. So I don't know, maybe I'll just try and rush through my thoughts next time, but either way, I'm getting really excited again to start kind of watching some more silent films and just continuing to broaden my horizon of all these great films from the silent era that I'm such a big fan of. And I'll probably dedicate like 3 weeks to kind of just slowly every day kind of watch a film and kind of go through them all, and then, you know, make the video as I go. And that'll be that. So, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Leave any thoughts about any of the titles that I showed in this video down below. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next one.
So you might say he's a really nice guy, really, but if fucking don't cut shit with me. He says he's really cool, but I think he's a tool.
I got 3 things here. Don't know why I did that. Like, I'm only going to say this twice, okay?